we go to the casino, I always tell him you're either gloating or you're grumbling. There's no in between. If he's losing, he's running. This is the stupidest thing I've ever run. And if he's winning, look at me.
Yeah,
best game in the world. It's just like, oh, gloat or grumble. Well, hello, Brandon.
Oh, Angela.
Just the two of us again.
Just the two. I was going to say, yeah, it was nice having the guest.
Yes,
and that was a lot of fun.
If you did not tune in, we had one of our fanatics of fun, Dave Swearingen. And that was cool. I mean, just getting to hear another person's perspective on fun and what the challenges are doing for them and kind of their background of where they come from.
Right.
Because everybody's different. And some people were raised that, having fun at certain places is disrespectful.
Correct.
Or the opposite. And so it's always really interesting to see. I was raised, well, my mom always tried to enjoy life and my dad too. But I was always getting in trouble by my stepdad if I wasn't working hard enough.
Oh.
And we would get in trouble. I remember one very specific time, my brother and I had to wash the dishes. We didn't have a dishwasher when we were young. And we were like kind of having a water fight and we're putting, stuff on our heads and we got in trouble for it.
Oh.
Because we were having fun washing the dishes. And
how old were you? Do you remember? Like roughly? I mean,
I was probably 8.
Okay. See, and this is what's funny. I'm that dad. I'm like your step. Yes. I don't know why. And okay. I do know why. Because now Liz has helped pull back some layers to understand how I was raised. And my mom did not want to deal with me because you can imagine energy as a child. I had a lot of energy. And so her go-to was suppress, like just shut it down. And I think it was almost a sales trick, right? Like if I really shut him down hard, maybe he'll land here where it's a little more tolerable. But yeah, we've definitely revealed the, or pulled back the layers that my mom was all about. I don't have time for this. You stop. And I see it in me too then. Because I mean, that's how I was raised. Yeah. So yes, and it's usually task oriented stuff. If I ask them to do the dishes and I want them to do the dishes, chances are I have 7 other things that I need to get done. So you better get the dishes done. Let's move. Yeah. And they have a little fun and I'm all grinchy about it.
Interesting. I would not have thought that about you.
I always wonder why like kids navigate. No, what is it? Were they like if there's a bunch of kids, we're having a family party or something, all the kids will gravitate. Thank you. Gravitate to me. And I'm like, I just yelled at all of you for being too loud. And yet now here we are hanging out. But I mean, I do have fun with them. Don't get me wrong. Right? Like I'll get down on the floor and play. But yeah, I can be that.
Interesting. I would not have thought that.
Yeah. And it's internal. I can't control it.
We talk about this a lot in this podcast. How you were raised and the things that happen to you a lot of the times before you're even really conscious of what's happening to you. I
would agree with that.
Have huge consequences as adults. And if you never, look into it and dig down deep, you're just reacting.
100. Yes. And I would have denied you 10 years ago. I would have been like, no, trust me. That didn't affect me at all. I'm my own person. I can see through the trees, all of that. But no, again, and especially kids, right? Because there's about 10 now. How I react to my children. Oh, and spills.
Really?
I have gotten much better at this because I understand accidents happen. Oh man. And I think a lot of it plays into, I'm moving at 100 miles an hour in the kitchen. I like to be busy in the kitchen. And when a glass of water gets knocked over, that just messes up my whole system. Right. And so it is always well, what were you doing?
Interesting. So I don't know if you've been around my daughter a lot.
Not lately, but back in the day when I was working here, I got to hang out with her.
She's clumsy.
Okay.
And so am I. But there are a lot of spills, drops, all of the above, all the time. And I had to consciously make an effort because I would do that. What are you doing?
Right. Yep.
And part of it was that I don't like that about myself because that's really, when you are really triggered by something, when you really get angry about something, it's usually because either you see it in yourself and you hate that in yourself, or you want that the other person has and you don't have it. So it's always about yourself. And so when she would drop and it's even if I would correct, I would, why are you? It's okay.
Mm-hmm, right.
It's that initial, that's what makes the impression. So, and I've noticed every time she does something like that, spills, drops, breaks, immediately looks to my face to see what my reaction is. And it's that initial first, if that initial first is mad, if it's judgmental, that's what makes the impression that this is not okay. And so, and that's really hard because you don't have a chance.
Correct. Well,
to get ahead of that.
That's when she was in the weird outfit at school and walked up, and the first thing out of your mouth was, Blech. What are you wearing? Yeah.
And of course, it comes from a protection.
Yep.
If I get on her ass enough, she won't do this anymore, which is completely untrue.
That does not work.
All it does is make her feel worse about it. And so I have gotten very good about it now. No matter what it is, this is the look I have on my face when she looks at me.
Yeah, and I like that. I need to adopt that. And you have a few more years on me as far as raising a child goes. But that is something that I am consciously trying to work on too, because, and I've learned this from you, your face is going to speak volumes before you even say a word out of your mouth.
Yes.
And that's what they remember, not the conversation. And I even like how you point out, even when you draw back and say, okay, look, I am sorry that I had that reaction. First. You can't take back how people feel. You can't change that piece.
No, it's the same way of, and this is something also I do really well with Delaney. Whenever I first see her, I make sure I smile. There's and because that's very important for a parent, but I was doing that. I was not doing that for Todd.
Oh, wow.
So like when I would first see him, whether that's, greeting each other in the morning or coming home from work, or even if we're in the same house and we cross paths.
Right. Yeah.
I would either not look at him. And this is like if we're just crossing, I don't come home and not look at him.
Get out of the kitchen. I got to come in.
Really well at, we greet when all of that stuff. But just putting a smile on my face and looking at him when we cross paths. And I'm not saying that he's great at it either. You're busy, You're involved in your own stuff. But what a gift to give to somebody that I enjoy seeing you every time I see you, even if it's I walked into a different room and I've been gone for 15 minutes or I've been gone for a week. Mm-hmm. That the initial look on my face when I see you is one of happiness.
Aww.
And so it's hard. It's hard to do because you are in your own little world.
That's the big, you're at home in your environment and you probably have 20 things running through your head.
And also half the time I am annoyed with him. Maybe I just maybe I just came out of the other room and all of his dirty socks were laying there. Or I walked into the kitchen and all the cupboards are open like there was a poltergeist.
Okay, well, in all fairness, I would lose my mind on that one.
And then
I would lose my mind.
And this is what I have learned to do. I look around, make sure you can't see me. I do this. And then I put the smile, and then I close, and I try to remind myself, I don't remember where I read this, but it was something about, all the messes that your loved ones make in the house and things you have to clean up. They're signs that you have a loved one.
Ah, yes. And you miss those things.
Yeah.
You don't think you would.
Right.
But if you would lose someone unexpectedly, you miss those socks just sitting there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sign you have love. Even if it annoys the shit out of you sometimes. But now we've gotten off topic. I don't even know.
We haven't even started a topic. That was the opener. Hey, everybody, Engaging Live. We like to have 20-minute openers.
Join us. So before we get into a couple of the challenges, we're going to talk about one challenge that you completed with our team.
Yeah.
And another challenge that our team completed that Brandon was not a part of. But first, I want to talk a little bit more. I read 2 articles that were very interesting this week. They were both about parenting and about the gifts that you give your children and how a lot of people are doing it wrong. And one of them was about achievement, and that pushing your kids to achieve all the time is one of the things that you do wrong. Okay. You're not teaching your kid how to enjoy life. If it's go, go, go all the time, get on the varsity team, get a scholarship, study hard, you're never teaching them how to enjoy life. And of course, now I cannot remember what the other study was about, which doesn't matter because this is the one I really wanted to talk about, is the difference between fun and enjoyment, because the way I do fun, and I know this, I can sometimes cross a line where it does become almost like a job, like almost burdensome, not to me,
okay,
but to other people. Like we have to be having fun. We have to be having fun.
Oh, yes. Okay. I understand what you're saying.
And that almost becomes, it kind of bleeds into that achievement. If you're not having fun, your life's not worth living.
Gosh.
Or you're doing it wrong, or
it's funny because I've seen, not to the extreme, but I've seen this in you, right? Because when it's a moment of, hey, we're all just kind of hanging out, you're not hesitant to say, hey, I've got this new fun game. You guys want to try it? Mm-hmm. Like, no rules. It's really easy.
It's not okay to just sit and be.
Correct. But there are times that I'll be heading to an event or maybe to a one-to-one and stuff. And in my head, internally, I'm freaking out because I'm like, how am I going to keep all these people excited and happy while I'm there? How am I going to keep this conversation going? And then you get there, especially one-to-ones, I get there and they're doing more of the talking anyway.
Right.
Like, they also too were thinking, I'm going to participate in this.
Right. It's not all about you, baby.
Oh, shocker.
But that's a tough thing because I do know that about myself. So, like one of the reasons why we initially started doing this was the whole Todd, the page of cups with the beer and the happy good time Charlie. He's like, that is you.
That's not me.
And I'm just like, I don't want to be the drunk good time Charlie all the time. But then I saw the positives in it.
Yep.
But there's also the dark side where it becomes almost not obsessive, but it can be.
It adds anxiety or a burden.
Right.
And that to most people, and I'm not saying it doesn't to us, but that takes away a lot of fun. That's a huge fun suck for people.
Right. Trying to have fun can be the antithesis of fun.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
And I've noticed this. So my daughter's getting to that age, where I'm starting to see her, graduating and going away. And so I've probably gotten a little obsessive about spending time with her and making memories. And have erred too much on the side of we have to be going to do things. So I've kind of unpacking our weekends with, let's go to a movie, let's go see this new cool restaurant, let's go to this event, let's go see a craft fair. I try and pack all this stuff into it. And it kind of came to my attention last weekend because Todd and I were going to a beer fest, which stupidly started at 1:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's a long day, folks.
Oh, yeah. And there was 500 plus beers. And it's like, what do you do? Go home at 4 and go to bed? I don't know.
That sounds nice.
Anyway, we made it. But I told Delaney, thinking she'd be like, oh, you're not going to be around. Saturdays usually when we go running around together. And I'm like, well, Saturday, Todd and I have this beer fest. She's like, oh, good. So I can just stay home and do my yoga and relax. And I'm like, I was trying to force her to do too much. Do too much. And also, making that impression that if we're not out doing something, our time isn't valuable together.
Wow. I mean, I get it. I completely get all of that. And it is hard to know when it is we're just going to sit here and chill. Mm-hmm. You guys read. You both read books, right? Yeah. So sit here and chill and read. And I think you've said something on these lines, but that may be the most important thing to her.
Yeah.
But it doesn't translate to how we want to experience with our kids.
And also, I'm probably making her kind of be like that too, where she thinks it's always about an event.
Going to do it. Yes.
Yep. We're spending money because anything you do.
It costs money.
It costs money. And we spend a lot of money on the weekends. It's like I spend a lot of money. Almost all of my money goes towards events, things like that. I don't buy a lot of things.
Don't buy gifts, buy experiences.
Which I wholeheartedly agree. But there is no reason that we need to go have a $50 lunch every Saturday and Sunday.
That's true.
It is. It's excessive. And it's, of course, in my mind, I'm like, we got to do all this stuff before she leaves. Like, I'm never going to see her again. She's probably going to be right here in Omaha and we'll still do all this stuff. But that's kind of the concept I wanted to talk about today is there is a line and, trying to have fun all the time. Well, number one, it can it can fall flat. It can be kind of desperate, which I don't think that I fall into the desperate category. Maybe I should be asking other people.
It's because you have self-awareness is what I would say on that one. You know when a ship has sunk and you're like, okay, maybe we should just move on here. This isn't working. Where I think some people, every friend they've ever made is going to always be their best friend. I have a friend like this, and he tends to leech on to people. And then it's like, that's the most important thing in their life now. Oh, you have to be at all my parties. You got to do all of this. And I think that can be detrimental in the long term.
I do. Probably one of my greatest strengths is one of my greatest weaknesses. I do like my own company quite a bit, and I'm perfectly fine doing stuff on my own, but I pressure myself to make everything fun.
Yes.
Too. You know, so it's like, you know, going home on a Monday night and cooking dinner and relaxing on the couch, that in and of itself should be a perfectly fine evening.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like, it's not enough for me. What should I try a new drink while I'm cooking? Should I, you know, put on it's like, I think that those moments aren't worthy unless I'm having fun. So there's definitely, and that is a big burden, and it's also exhausting.
Yes, that I understand.
You know, if you're trying to have fun every single day of, you know, and then feeling like the day was lost if you didn't.
See, and I guess for me, I don't feel that that pressure, right? Like I'm fine eating the same dang supper, making it the same way, and all of those. I think the misconception people get from me is my very high energy. It doesn't lose its positivity necessarily, but I promise you, my family doesn't have to deal with me being like, hey, everybody, what's going on? Good morning. Let's rock and roll. Not to get me wrong. I am like that a lot. But there are also times where I'm just chilling on the couch and Isabel will come in and she'll be like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, honestly, I just sat down and I'm just relaxing for a minute. So I don't feel the burden necessarily that you have, but I do think that when I do slow down, people think I'm like, there's something
depressed.
Wrong. Yes. Yes. And it's like, well, actually.
I get that too. When I do finally relax and what's wrong with you?
It's like, well, I just stopped for a minute.
Or if I'm like, I don't really feel like going out tonight. I was like, are you sick?
He's calling the fire department and we're going to need you here in about 10 minutes, I bet.
I didn't feel good on Monday and I stayed in bed till I slept until 2:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
And he came up twice to see if I was alive.
Yeah, I bet.
He's just like, should I be worried? I'm like, I just don't feel it. This isn't your MO because I usually push through it.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, and I was just like, I'm calling it today.
Good for you.
Don't feel good. But yeah, when you set a certain precedent, people start to expect that from you.
They do. Yep. Well,
and then the burden is on you. You created it, but.
And in my family, what happens is when I do get angry or frustrated, it is a running joke for months. Because, and this is the most recent one. So we always do the pumpkin patch every year. My sister comes in town. We had just gotten a new car. And for whatever reason, driving into the dirt parking lot, and it wasn't even that bad. I was like, oh, we definitely have to take the car to go get washed after this. Well, then we stayed longer than expected. Dinner was ready. And basically, my nephew, who is 14, looks over at my mom and goes, why is he so obsessed with washing this car? So for the rest of the weekend, everything was like, oh, Brandon, do you need to go wash the car first? But Liz has even said, you know, I feel kind of bad for you because you can't have that emotion.
Yeah.
Because people are so used to you not having it. When you do, it's comical. And don't get me wrong, I am not good at being mad. Like, it is comical to me too. But that has gotten harder as I've gotten older because there are things that are affecting my life in a different way now versus when I was a teenager. Who cares? And when I have those emotions, I feel like my family is the least to support them.
Yeah. Well, you all have your roles.
Yep.
You know, and like in our family, Todd's kind of grumpy, and I'm the always have a smile on my face, always up for everything, always. And so when I'm just not feeling that. It's just like, what's going on? This is the role we expect from you. You're not doing it, you know, but
you know what? In all fairness, when Grumpy Gus is like really happy, aren't you like, are you okay?
Oh, well,
not necessarily your Grumpy Gus, but
it's an act. I mean, not to say he's never happy.
Right. But he
can't just be happy. He puts on the ultra extreme.
Yep.
And I'm just like, you don't have to act. You can just smile. That's happy enough. You don't have to put on the act. But, and we talk about this all the time. He's an introvert who tries to act like an extrovert and he goes overboard.
And then he gets
two
drained.
Extremes.
And then
it is two extremes. It is flat affect, nothing, or it's blah, blah. It's just like, can you just.
Find the middle.
Or when we go to the casino, I always tell him, you're either gloating or you're grumbling. There's no in between. If he's losing, he's running. This is the stupidest thing I've ever run. And if he's winning, look at me.
Yeah,
best game in the world. It's just like, gloat or grumble.
That is fantastic.
Good band name. So the challenges that we did this week. Potluck was one of the suggestions in our Fanatics of Fun, but me being me.
Had to be a drinking potluck.
But I thought it would be really interesting because I made sure that our team knew that it did not have to be alcoholic. We do have a couple of non-drinkers on staff, which we're going to fire soon. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
It's a total joke. But I wanted to make it inclusive that, that they could participate too.
Mm-hmm.
And I like mocktails. I like putting a fun mocktail in a fun glass on a.
I drink a lot of bubblies.
Yeah.
Because instead of grabbing a seltzer, a beer, or let's not lie, an old fashioned, I just want something a little different.
Yeah.
Right. I just don't want to drink water. And the seltzer waters have done wonders for me.
Put a little ginger juice in it.
Ginger juice.
Really good. Yeah. It's really, really, really good for you. Ginger is a huge anti-inflammatory.
Does it make it like more refreshing almost?
It's depends on how much you put in.
Oh,
I juice it up and you're like until your lips are tingling.
Ooh, see, I can't do that.
Okay,
Ginger and I have a weird relationship.
Okay, well, it's
I
quite good for you.
respect the purpose of ginger.
But you don't like the taste.
I don't need a lot of ginger.
Okay. There's also little packets that you can get from Trader Joe's. And you can just sprinkle a little in. And it's 100% ginger.
Those are getting hot and popular. They make limes like that too, don't they? Little packet limes.
Do they? Mm-hmm. Like powdered?
More dehydrated. But no, it is powder, but it's a real lime powder. Huh. So like if you're at a bar and you want a lime in your Corona and either you're worried about the Rona so you don't use the public one or they don't have any, then yeah, you just got a little packet, keep it in your purse and dump it in
keep
there.
It in your purse?
Yeah, naturally. My Merce.
In your Merce.
Thank you very much.
Keep it in your Merce.
I don't have a Merce. I've had a Merce. I have had a Merce before Merces were cool in high school, but
I can see that.
Carried my band music in it. I just
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. So we decided to do it during wind up because we're drinking anyway, and I did not want to. Again, I am trying to be as cognizant as I can of our team's time.
Mm-hmm.
And even though these things that we're doing are fun, it is still taking time away from work.
Correct.
Or from their families or whatever they may be doing. I make sure they are all optional. So, they are not required.
No, but it was a great turnout.
Yeah, I believe almost everybody participated. Mm-hmm. And so everybody brought, I said to bring your favorite drink. And then I told Todd what I brought. And he's like, I've never seen you drink one of those in your life. And I'm like, my favorite drinks are wine and beer. That's,
right. Yeah.
What am I going to do? Little taste testers of.
I think everybody kind of did.
I don't think anybody did their favorite.
Right. Yeah. No. Thinking back to what they were, some people, if that's your favorite drink.
And potlucks, people don't bring their favorite.
No.
So it was really fun. Mm-hmm. So we had the two that I brought was the Godfather, which is actually something I've been trying to come up with a drink that is not wine or beer that I can have when I'm out that I can sip on and make it last a long time.
Okay.
And anything that's like vodka soda, anything like that where I can't taste the alcohol, I just toss it down.
Yep.
And that's not what I want. But I can't yet do Scotch on the rocks or, I do like I'm really coming around to old fashions.
Thank you. I think I'm starting an old fashioned revolution around these
coming around to those. So what I did was the Godfather, which was I got honey beam. I know. And an amaretto. Yep. So really it's the Godfather is an actual drink. It was more popular, I believe, back in the 50s and 60s. It's Scotch or bourbon and amaretto. Okay. I believe it's 3 parts to 1 part. 3 parts bourbon to 1 part amaretto.
You just see a bartender be like, oh, shoot. I'm drinking this neat. What could I add? Amaretto.
It was good though.
It was good. It was good. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy that one.
I did that one, and then I did a butter old fashioned, which was again bourbon and butter shots and maraschino cherry and a little bit of bitters.
And the butterscotch I got everything in that one. I think I forgot about the bitters though, as I was going through the ingredients. So that one was.
And that one I kind of looked for. That's not a normal drink that you would order in a bar. And where that came from is one of my friends is obsessed with breakfast shots. You ever had those?
No, but I'm sure there's one that tastes like maple syrup and pancakes.
It's just one shot.
Oh, sorry.
It's called a breakfast shot. It's whiskey, butter shots, and then you chase it with orange juice.
Interesting. So does it taste like maple syrup and orange juice?
Kind of.
With the butterscotch? No.
Yeah. I don't remember why. I think it's a Irish thing. That Irish people would drink those for breakfast is why it's called a breakfast shot.
More so than
it
doesn't have to taste like okay,
tastes
got
like
it.
Eggs and bacon, yum.
Hot dog.
I think that is where the name of it comes from, because of the orange juice. That's what they would drink at breakfast. But so I was like, and she'd always be like, take a shot. I'm like, but I like the taste of it. I want to sip it like a drink.
My mom did that. Buttery nipple. She would make a whole canister of it, and she'd just dump it on ice, and that would be her drink.
White Russian.
It's similar. And she likes those. Yeah, very similar. Yep.
Yeah. So those are the two that I brought. Some of the girls who are not fond of alcohol because they tasted like alcohol didn't love them, but a couple of the others did.
The ones that don't drink alcohol. Yeah. Yes.
Like, no. Dan hated the old fashioned, but he liked the Godfather.
Okay.
You were mad at me for something. I can't remember what it was now that I put something in something.
It wasn't yours. It was another one.
Oh.
Because the amaretto I could taste, but that doesn't bother me. It was another one though that had something in it that
Fireball.
I didn't like. Yeah, the Fireball. I can't.
I do not like Fireball either. One of them was Fireball and apple juice or cider.
And I feel bad because it is good. Like that is a good drink, but just too many.
Yeah, I don't like Fireball.
Too many 10th hole Fireball shots that I'm done.
They should only go in this hole.
Done with it. Oh my Lanta. Talking about golf.
I know.
Okay.
So we had that one. I think we named that the Fired Up Cider.
Fired Up Cider. Yeah. Okay.
And then there was the Bad Santa, which there was a lot of ingredients in that one.
There was. I got most of those ingredients.
But that one was really good.
That had ginger in it, didn't it?
I think so. Ginger ale, I think. Or ginger beer.
Ginger beer. Yep. That one had the ginger beer in it.
That was really good.
That was tasty.
We had a mock champagne.
That I was impressed with.
It was very pineapple-y.
Because, but
good.
Before I put two and two together, the name and the mocktail and everything, after the because what made it the champagne-y? What gave it that? Something carbonated, wasn't it? That might have been the ginger ale.
That could have been. Yeah.
In there. And after kind of putting all of it together, I took another drink and I'm like, you know what? Honestly, this is kind of like a pineapple-y champagne. Like that. It kind of hit that button. Yeah.
And then we had a mocktail punch. That was good. That was
Sarah. Yep. Sarah made. I want to call it Grinch punch. Was it green?
Purplish.
Purplish? Okay. Then I don't know why I want to call it the Grinch punch, but I do.
And then Courtney had a berry sangria.
That was delicious.
Yeah.
That was
quite good.
Did that simmer? I mean, it was in a jar, so I assume it.
You'll have to ask her.
I wonder if she has like a bunch of jars at home and lets them simmer.
That's some simmer.
Simmer sangria.
So we had little shot glasses that we're all able to try everybody else's drinks, and it was just fun, you know. We played some charades.
That I did not see coming. That charades was something else.
Yeah, God Hates Charades is the name of the game. It's tough and it's dirty.
Yeah,
keep that in mind. Don't play it with kids.
Nope. And again. What you're saying, HR leaves at 4 on Friday, right? Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was pretty good.
But everybody participated. Everybody got to. And one thing I did like is I think Courtney wasn't in the mood to play, and we offered it, and then she said no. And it's like, okay.
She'd hurt her back.
Oh, serious? That's what? Yeah, oh, shoot.
And it is quite a physical. You have to act out stuff. So she's like, I'm not going to hurt my back again. So she just.
I don't blame her. Because it's a person. And then an activity.
Yeah.
And like one was like I'm trying to think of somebody famous and the only one I can think of is it's not really appropriate for the saying, but Roger Rabbit swatting at flies.
Yeah.
And you have to first get Roger Rabbit and then the swatting at flies. And it was such, but we got them all.
Yeah.
Like everybody, mine
put
was
no timer on it.
Mine was a bowling ball, and you got the dude.
Yeah.
From
The Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski. That was amazing.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
It was a good time.
The second one that we did was client trivia night. So this was take some clients out to something, outside the office, do a fun activity. So we did client trivia night at 72 Tap and Table, which was a lot of fun. I believe we only had 4 clients show up. But it is a busy time of year. I decided to do this during Christmas.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on. But the majority of our staff showed up. So we did have like 15 people.
Oh,
and we got into 2 teams. It was all, random trivia. So there was not a theme.
Oh, cool.
But it was a lot of fun. Good. And getting to know those 2 of the clients that showed up, I had met him briefly once and I'd never met his wife. So they were kind of brand new to me. And then the other 2 clients, we had brought them to a Sarpy Chamber event. So I'd gotten to talk to them a little bit there. But I think they were trying to keep it between the beacons at the Sarpy event. Oh. And then let loose at this one.
Oh, I like that.
So it was really a lot of fun. And we didn't win. Neither of our teams won.
I've never won
trivia. Our team
beat
Dan's team.
Is that all that matters?
That's really all
that
really
matters.
But it was just a lot of fun getting to see everybody in that different environment. And we have a little bit of video of that one too. So there you have it. Nice. Take your clients out. Do something fun like that. They're really going to appreciate it. You're going to learn more about them. You're going to learn more about yourself. It's just these challenges have been really fun. So that's our show today. We're really excited to have another guest with us next time. Yeah. And then we can talk some more about some other challenges that we've done. I baked a souffle poorly. Brandon did a magic trick, not poorly.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That was very good.
Appreciate that.
And we'll definitely complete some more before the next show that we'll be able to tell you about. So thank you so much. If you're enjoying this, we'd love to hear comments, suggestions, likes,
shares,
reviews, all the good stuff.
Yep.
We would really appreciate that. And we hope that you're having fun right along with us.